I'm Tom Giordano with Giordano Bookkeeping. In this video, I'm going to show you how to track your sales by job using the sub customer tool. I want to say before beginning that ideally this would be used in conjunction with expense tracking by job, which I cover in a separate video, also using the sub customer tool. You should also just know that there are other ways of tracking income and expenses by job. But my objective here is to enable business owners to spend as little time in QuickBooks as possible while still giving their bookkeepers enough information for them to produce highly useful financial reports. So, say here, if we want to produce a profit by jobs report, it starts with how the invoice is created, which is typically something that the business owner handles, creating and sending their own invoices. And by adding this extra detail, it allows much more useful reports to be created, and you can really get the most out of your QuickBooks. Again, we are using the sub customer feature in QuickBooks. And here's just a quick overview of the whole process. We're going to create a customer, and then we're going to create sub customers below them. And those sub customers represent distinct jobs within that parent customer. All right, so step one, create the customer. We're going to go to sales, customers. All right, new customer. All right, we have Coffee Bean Cafe. We're going to say, okay, now this is the main customer. So this is all you need to put. I mean, as you're doing it, put in whatever other information you normally would. If you want to put an address, if you're just sending your invoices by email, this is fine. Oh, save. All right, that's step one. That's it. Now we're on step two, where we're going to create sub customers of that customer. So back to customers, new customer. All right. So in our example, we're going to show, Coffee Bean Cafe has two locations, and we're saying that we're doing a job at each of those locations and we want to track them separately. So location one. All right. You don't need to put in the other information because it will be a sub customer. So that other information will already be there once you assign it to the parent. So we'll go down here is a sub customer. Check that box. And then you select the parent of that sub customer. Here we have Coffee Bean Cafe. Save. All right. As I mentioned, we are saying that there are two jobs that we are tracking for this customer. So we added the first job, location one. We're adding the second job now, location two. New customer, let's say location two. Again, is a sub customer, yes. Who's the parent? It's Coffee Bean Cafe. And now from a setting up perspective, you're all done. You're just going to go and do your invoice pretty much the same way you would have done before. Now, there are a few tweaks with that invoicing, but very minimal. And I'll walk through that now and show you. Okay, let's go create the invoice. Sales, invoices. All right, create the invoice. Okay, so just like you normally would, you're going to add your customer, but instead of adding the parent customer, which normally you would have just had one option for that customer, you're going to add the sub customer that represents the job you're sending the invoice for. All right, location one is the job that we're invoicing right now. So just notice that in the bill to box, the sub customer name comes up. It's not a huge deal if you don't change this, but I just like to send an invoice where the bill to box says the customer's actual name. So you could just backspace, and type in Coffee Bean Cafe. All right, now the rest is pretty similar. Um, we're doing design, let's say. It's here, $550. That's what my invoice is. Review and send. Now, here's one more tweak. In the email body, it's also going to put in that sub customer name that you put in. So I like to just take that out just to make it nice and clean. All right, go ahead and send the invoice. So that's for the first job. Let's send an invoice for the second job. Create invoice, add your customer. Now select location 2. That's the job we're sending an invoice for. Again, I like to change this just to make it neat all around. Say we're doing a rock fountain. All right, that looks like a good price. Review and send. And here, just like the last one, it's gonna take that little piece out. Send invoice. All right. So that's pretty much all you'll really be doing on your end. But I'll take it a little bit further so you could get an idea of where this is going. Now, just keep in mind this is at the invoicing stage, so we haven't put in expenses by job. Ultimately, what we want is to be able to run a profit by job report. Since we've only put in sales, we could run a sales by job report just to illustrate how this is going to look and how you give you an opportunity to see that sales by job report. So we'll go to reports, sales and customers, sales by customer summary. That's the one that we want to look at right now. Let's make this year to date. Okay. So you see Coffee Bean Cafe. You see it as a heading. There's nothing next to it in this right-hand column because everything that's been billed for it or invoiced for it has been invoiced specifically for the particular jobs within this customer. Location 1, so far we've invoiced $550. Location 2, so far we've invoiced $275 for a total of $825 for this customer overall. Now just compare this to the other customers in this list. Let's look at this one, Amy's Bird Sanctuary. We see $630 in sales for this customer, but we don't know by looking at this, is that for one job? Is that for two? And we could look into the detail and see, all right, there were multiple invoices. It looks like they may have been for different services. Um, you just don't have the same level of detail when you don't do invoicing by job or as we're using by sub customer. So I think that is just a good illustration to show the type of specific detail that you could get. And again, if this is used in conjunction with expense tracking by job, you could run an entirely different report that shows profit by job, and you could isolate, okay, what were all my sales from that job, and what were all my major expenses that were associated with that job, and you can run that gross profit report really for the particular job. So now you know how to set up your invoices so that we can track the sales by job, which is a critical piece in the bigger picture, again, of tracking sales and expenses by job to give you an overall job profitability analysis. Thanks for watching.